So in my main.dat file over here, I've created a home widget which is defined below as a stateful widget with a scaffold over here, and we'll be using Flutter local notifications for our notification over here. So over here, I'll walk you through the steps in configuring for Android and also the iOS. Right, so let's get started over here. So it's Android. Within the Android default config, first of all, let's set the multi-dex enable to be true, and also make sure our compiled SDK is set to 34. Right, so over here within my Android directory, the app, I have built a Gradle file over here. So within the config over here, you need to set the multi-dex enable to be true, and also let's set the main SDK version over here to be 21. And at the top over here, we can see the compile SDK. Right, you need to change that to 34 and saving the changes over here. Then the next step is to modify the Android manifest file. Right, to schedule notification, the following changes are needed. Right, you need to specify the appropriate permissions within the manifest tag. So let's add this permission. So I'll grab that over here, and within the source main, we have the Android manifest file. So in the manifest tag, we paste that. And also, if the app requires scheduling notification with exact timings, there are two options, right? Since Android 14 brought about behavioral changes. So I'll grab this permission over here, and I'll add that as well. So you have the option to choose from any of the two, right? So I'll be adding the two over here. There we go. And also, you need to specify the following between the application tags, right? So that the plugin can actually show the schedule notification. So you need to grab the receiver over here. So within the application tag, you can just paste in the sample code, right? And also, to use the full screen intent notification, you need to specify the use permission, use full screen intent, right? So I'll copy that over here, and I'll add that as well. So let's proceed. To use notification actions, we also need to specify one more receiver over here. So I'll also grab that. That should be found within the application tag as well, right? Just like this. So once you are done, you need to save in the changes over here. And that's basically it for the setup of Android, right? So let's move on to the iOS. So we need to modify the file name as the app delegate.swift, right? So I'll copy this code, and within the iOS directory, the runner, you can see app delegate.swift over here. So below over here, I'll just paste in the condition, right? Let's proceed over here. And also within that same file, we need to import Flutter local notification as well over here. So we need to import Flutter local notification and also add this sample code. So we need to add the sample code over here and save any changes. There we go. And that's basically it for the setup of iOS, right? The next step is to start integrating our notification, right? So once we are done with the setup of Android and iOS, so first of all, let's make sure our Flutter local notification is installed, right? So I'll grab that over here and install that with the command flutter pap add Flutter local notifications. So we need to install that. You can see we have a successful installation over here. I also like to install this time zone. We'll be using it as well, right? So I'll install the time zone as well. Flutter pap add time zone. There we go. So once we have that installed, within the lib folder, I'll be creating a directory, and the name is going to be notification over here. And within this notification is going to be a file that's going to contain the notification class, right? It's going to be notification as well. So over here, I'm going to create a class of notification service, right? And I would like to comment out what we'll be doing over here. So we'll be creating an instance of the Flutter local notification plugin, right? So the first thing we are going to do is create an instance of the Flutter local notification plugin. Yes, So I'll be doing that over here. So static final Flutter looker notification plugin. Then the variable name is going to be Flutter looker notification plugin. Then we can assign the plugin, right? So this is the way we create an instance, right? And the next step is to initialize the notification plugin over here. So below over here, I'll be creating a method, right, or a function called init, where we can initialize our notification plugin. So the function name is going to be init, right? So static future, then the method name is going to be init. It's going to be an asynchronous. And over here, first of all, we define our Android initialization settings over here, right? That's the first thing we'll be doing. So we need to define the Android initialization settings. And the way we do that, right, we create a variable, and the variable is going to be of type the Android initialization settings. So in here, the variable name is going to be Android initialization settings as well. Then we can assign the Android initialization settings and pass in the default icon, right? So the default icon, you can access that from at mapmap/ic_launcher. Just like this. So this is the default icon over here, and you can have access to this default icon within the app, the main, the recs. You can see the map over here. So in open one directory, you can see the name is ic_launcher. So this is where we are accessing our default icon, right? And the next step is also define our iOS initialization settings. Since we are done with the Android, let's move on to the iOS as well. So it's going to be iOS initialization settings, and the type is going to be Darwin initialization settings over here. Darwin initialization settings, right? So we can assign the Darwin initialization settings just like this. So once we've defined our initialization settings for both iOS and Android, we need to combine the Android and also the iOS initialization settings, right? So I'll show you how that's been done over here. So I'll be creating a variable called initialization settings, right? Then we can pass in our initialization settings, which takes in Android. We can pass in our Android initialization settings over here, and also iOS as well. Just like this over here, right? You can see, you can also schedule notification for Mac OS and Linux as well. So once we've combined our Android and iOS initialization settings, the next step is to initialize the plugin, right? You need to initialize the plugin with the specified settings over here. So I'll be doing that. So the way we do that is, first of all, we need to await, then we call our instance, the Flutter looker notification plugin instance, which have the method of initialize. Then we can pass in our initialization settings over here. So just like this. So when we over on the initialize method, we can see we have on did notification receive response, and also on did receive background notification response, right? So those are the callback when we get a notification. So I'll be creating that at the top of the init over here. So static future, then the function name which takes in the notification response. So over here you can decide to navigate the person or the user to a specific page once there's on top of the notification over here. So once we've initialized our plugin with the specified settings, we also need to request permission for Android, right? So that's the next step over here. We need to request permission, notification permission from Android. Else it won't work over here, right? So to do that, we need to call our Flutter looker notification plugin instance. So you need to call Flutter looker notification plugin instance.resolve platform specific implementation, which is going to be of type the Android Flutter looker notification plugin. Then we can have the method where we can request for notification permission, right? So below over here, we are going to show an instant notification. That's going to be the methods within this notification class, right? So basically we're going to have two methods over here, one that will show an instant notification when the button is clicked, and also the next one that will schedule a notification, right? So we simulate that over here. So the first one is going to show an instant notification, right? So the function name is going to be show instant notification. So over here, you need to take in the title and also the body as well, which is going to be of type string. So it's going to be an asynchronous function, and within this show notification, first of all, we need to define our notification details, right? You need to define our notification details. So you're going to have a notification details over here. Create a variable. The variable name is going to be platform specifics, right? Platform channel specific. So once we have our variable, we can just assign our notification details, which takes in 100, right? And this 100 in turn also takes in the 100 notification details, where you can pass in the channel ID and also the channel name over here. So just like this. There are also some additional information you can provide with this 100, right? So you can set the importance to be importance dot high, and also you can also set a priority to be priority dot high. So just like this. So once we've defined our 100 notification details, we need to do the same thing for the iOS as well, and that's going to be Darwin notification details as this. Then we can await and call the instance, right? The Flutter local notification plugin instance dot show, right? So this will show a notification. You need to pass in an ID, the title, and the body, and the notification details, which we've already defined it at the top over here, which is going to be the platform channel specifics. So this method basically creates an instant notification, passing the title and the body, right? So we'll be doing something similar for schedule notification, right? So below over here, we are going to create a schedule notification. So I'll be pasting what I just did over here and changing the method name over here to schedule notification. It's going to take in the title and the body as well. We will be defining the notification details over here as well, right? So there's going to be an additional parameter over here, and that's going to be the schedule time, right? We also need to know when this notification is going to schedule, right? So once we have that, the notification details is going to stay same, but we need to modify the Flutter the method show. So to do that, let's first of all import the time zone over here as TZ, right? So this is going to be Flutter local notification plugin dot zone schedule. That is in the ID, the title, the body, the schedule date, and also the notification details. So with the notification details, we are going to pass in the platform channel specifics. It also takes in the UI local notification date interpretation, right? That's going to be from the absolute time, just like this. And we have one more method to pass in, one more parameter to pass in over here. That's the selected date. The scheduled date. So the scheduled date is of type time zone daytime, right? That's the reason why we import the time zone. So you can access the time zone .tz daytime .from, where you can pass in our scheduled dates, and the location is going to be from local, just like this. So this is basically the functionality in scheduling a notification, right? And also showing an instant notification. So there's going to be one more parameter to add, and that's the match date time component, right? So it's going to be the date and time. And that's basically it for the notification class. So over here, let's change the main function to be an asynchronous function. And before running the app, let's ensure our widget Flutter binding is initialized, and also we need to await and call our notification service class and initialize that, right? The method in it, just like this. We also need to initialize the time zone, right? So let's first of all import the time zone over here. and this is going to be as TZ. So make sure this import statement is from time zone / data / latest. Yeah, just like this. So once we have that imported, we can call the TZ instance and call the initialize time zone, just like this, before running the main app. There we go. So within the scaffold over here, we are basically going to have two buttons, right? One for scheduling notification and one for showing notification instance. So you are going to have a center, and the child of this center is going to be a column, right? So within the column over here, you're going to have elevated button. So first of all, let's set the main axis alignment of this column to be main axis alignment of center. There we go. And within the children over here, you're going to have two buttons, right? The first one is going to be an elevated button, which comes with the onPress and also the child, right? So the onPress over here is basically the function that's going to call when the button is pressed, and the child is going to take in a test widget. A test widget that says show notification, just like this. So below this button is going to be an additional button that will be for scheduling notification, right? So we need to change in the text over here to schedule notification. There we go. So let's add the functionality, right? So to show you an instant notification over here, we need to call our notification service class, which has the show instant notification method, where you can pass in the title and the body, right? So the title is going to be an instant notification. So with the body, it's going to be this shows an instant notification. You can decide to go with whatever you want over here, right? With the title and the body. There we go. So this is the functionality in showing an instant notification. So with the schedule notification, I'll try and simulate it over here to delay for 5 seconds, right? So I'll be creating a variable of schedule date, and that's going to be the daytime dot now. Then onto that, we can add a method that's the duration, right? So duration is going to take next 5 seconds. So this will simulate it for 5 seconds before scheduling the notification. So once we have our schedule dates over here, you can call our notification service class with a method of schedule notification, where you can pass in our title. So with the title over here, I'm going to pass in the schedule notification as a title, and so we need to pass in the body as well. So with the body, I'll go with this notification is scheduled. And we also need to pass in the schedule date as well. So we need to pass in the schedule date over here. Make sure you have that spread correct. There we go. So let's provide a space between the two buttons, right? So with the size box, you can provide a height of 12. That will space out vertically. There we go. And that's basically it. So let's give it a try. So I'll be running my simulator over here. So next to the simulator is going to be my emulator. There we go. So this is how it looks, show notification. And there we go, you can see instant notification. This shows an instant notification. So let's schedule a notification. And remember, this schedule notification is going to delay for 5 seconds, right? So when you click on the schedule notification, it's going to delay for 5 seconds. As you can see over there, schedule notification. All right, so let's focus on Android as well. Show notification, shows. And also let's schedule notification, which will delay for 5 seconds. There you go, and that's basically it, right? So see you in our next tutorial. Until then, Stay tuned.